Hey, welcome. This is Oliver again with
Hello.
Zephyr. We had another interview yesterday. This is part two, as we thought
Yep.
we would like to go a bit deeper. And this is
Okay.
the Oliver Schirach show. And yes, is it July already?
It's
Or,
July.
yeah, is it July? It was just
We
June. So
just
it's the 1st of July 2020.
we crossed over the months in during the interview, part one and part two.
Yes, I didn't realize. I'm not because we're in the Corona time, so we are all home all the time. So,
Yeah, that's true.
okay, people. So, part two. Who's Zephyr? Zephyr is a spiritual mind-body healing coach, mentor. He's a musician, mainly on drums. His favorite color is green-blue. He said so. It's turquoise. We know his spiritual animals or totem animals are spiders, eagles, and black panthers. Where he sees eagles and spiders in real time or real life, where the
I'm
black
just
panther.
gonna I'm just gonna say one thing. Just
Yes.
this morning, I thought of you before coming for the interview. A spider appeared again, and I was like, oh my god, I got to tell him about this on the interview today.
Okay.
But
Let
yeah,
let.
please carry on. Please carry on.
Yeah. So that's what we kind of covered yesterday, and yes, you go through an awakening for the last 3-4 years, if I got that right.
That's right. That's right.
You took a 3-day retreat in a hotel to ask yourself what you're really motivated about, what really matters to you, thanks to
Right.
Guru, right?
That's right.
Because one of
That's right.
his YouTube videos, and you stumbled over what's his name, Ian Donald Walsh, awakening of no, not awakening of species, but the interview of
Conversations with God.
conversation with God, right? That's from the 90s, and you were reading that, and you had contact with different spiritual people. While you started getting an engineering degree, you were working in the Chinese health medication, or like the old traditional Chinese medication
Yes.
things, and getting a lot
Yep.
of money there, looking like
Yep.
a pimp.
Yeah. But
Apparently,
for all the right reasons, though.
for all the right reasons, and then going in a suit for your drum audition for the music school.
Yeah.
So basically that's covering up the last interview, I think. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
did I miss anything? Are you a father of a 14-month-old kid or something like that?
Yeah, 16 months, January to July, 1 to 7, 6. 16 months, 12 plus 6, 18 months, 18 months.
Whoa, yeah, 1.5 years old.
Yeah, 1.5 years.
Already talking and playing music.
Yeah, she likes the sounds of drumming. We drum around, and I make up like jingles. Like, I'm notorious for making up funny jingles. So she really likes nature. So I hold her and look at the trees, and then I go like, "Hey, say hi to the trees," and then she says hi, and then I go like, "Say hi to the trees, say hi to the trees, say hi to the trees." Now it's like a song in our house, and everyone starts drumming along, and it's crazy. Yeah, she loves it.
Okay,
Yeah.
super. Like, yeah, we discussed that we would like to go a little bit more into your spiritual awakening, the experience
Sure.
you had. Uh,
Yep.
so, so what happened that you went out for Sadhguru or whatever? You went out and got this inspiration. What happened?
You mean with the hotel trip or just in
Yeah, like
general?
how you started getting into the spiritual world. What happened? What was the cause?
Right. So I was making music, and at that time I had just decided to stop working with other people for a while and stop the collaborations that I was doing. And I decided to produce a song by myself because I found a lot of problems working with you know so in every industry at the lower level, obviously you have people who are at the lower level, and so not very stand-up quality human beings, in the sense that lots of like problems and money issues with a lot of them, and timing issues and bad habits and a lot of things where I was like, okay, this is slowing down my progress. I could be wrong, but that's what I was thinking back then. So I decided I'll lock myself at home and do a mini Corona work from home like 6 years back, and 4 or 5 years back. And I was like, okay, I'm going to produce a song by myself from start to finish with all the knowledge I have. So I have a little bit of knowledge about drumming. I have, well, I mean, a lot of knowledge about drumming, and a little bit of knowledge about music production, a little bit of knowledge about singing, a little bit of knowledge about rapping. I'm going to put it all together and see if I can compose a song myself. So I don't have to rely on, have to find a music producer, then I have to find a good vocalist, then I have to find, all the things that go into producing a song. If you have $1 million budget, and I'm like Justin Timberlake, that's easy. Like I can just get people into a studio next week. But when you're just starting out, to coordinate all that and convince them and pay them, it's ridiculous. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this by myself. So I sat at home for 6 months and I made this song, which eventually made it to MTV, but that's another topic. So as I was sitting there, I had a lot of time to think. In between producing the song and exercising, that's all I did all day. So in between, I had a lot of pockets of time to think. And I started thinking like, yo, something's wrong with the world. Or, I mean, that's how I felt back then. I was like, what's going on? Like, how come, like, people are chasing money, and after chasing money, they are still destroying the planet, which means they're not really using their money for good. Everything's toxic. Water quality is rubbish. Something's not right somewhere, because something's going on that just doesn't gel with my inner, knowledge or guidance from, God or universe, whatever you want to call it. And I felt a bit unsettled. And also I was varying between, is something wrong with the world or is something wrong with me? So going back and forth between these two. And I started putting these thoughts on Facebook, and I was like, why are people doing this? Why are people, today with the technology and knowledge we have, why are people still getting raped? Why are people still getting killed? Why are people still getting tortured? Why are animals still getting tortured? I mean, surely we have the technology. If we want to eat an animal, fine. But surely we have the technology to kill it in an instant, like poof. So there's no torture. And then we can eat the animal that's dead. But what's with all the putting them to through a life of misery for 15 years just to kill them? That's stupid. Like, I was like, why are humans being so stupid right now? Something's not adding up. So I started putting all these thoughts on Facebook. And I was shit scared, like people in the music scene are going to be like, okay, this person's crazy, we're never working with them again. And that can be a problem in music and other related industries, because a lot of your work relies on collaborations. So I was like, whatever, I've already sat in my room for 6 months and produced this song by myself. Who cares? I'm going to produce music for the rest of my life. I don't care if anyone ever works with me again or not. So I'm just going to put this on Facebook anyway, because there must be someone out there who understands what I'm saying. And then, true enough, my head of program from LaSalle, which is my arts college, he replied. And then another friend who used to be an agent for my band in the music scene, I remember she was a very kind lady, and we had some nice words. So she replied, and two of them started replying, and they went like, I think you're going through an awakening. And I was like, well, what the hell is an awakening? And they were like, a spiritual awakening. And so far, I had always had this voice talking to me. And even in my music concerts at my college, like I called them very spiritual names, like the Reunion of Souls. I called my band the Reunion of Souls. And then my final graduation concert, I called it Freedom of Expression, and all these very spiritual things. But I didn't know that I was doing these very spiritual things. And so they said, you're going through a spiritual awakening. So the moment they put the word spiritual there, something inside me got excited. And I said, would you guys like to meet up and would you help, talk to me about it? And they were like, yeah, of course. Why not? So we met up, and then, I met with my head of program, Harris, and we were sitting down at this cafe, and he was telling me like, I kept scratching my shoulder. And as we were talking about spiritual awakening and the world and this and that, and he was trying to give me advice without freaking me out. So he was saying things like, I think your diet needs to be a bit more vegetable based. You're having too much meat. So he was giving all these spiritual tips, but making them sound super normal. so I wouldn't freak out. And then at one point he was like, I kept scratching my shoulder, and he's like, I was like, ouch, this really hurts. And then he's like, you know, you keep touching your shoulder. I said, yeah, I went to the gym yesterday. And he's like, no, it's not, that's not the gym. I was like, yeah, it is. Trust me, I've been going to the gym like 10 years now. This is a muscle ache. And then he's like, no, it's not. It's your grandfather or your great-grandfather. I can't tell which. Then I was like, oh, okay. Then we kept eating the food and move on with the discussion. And he said, you know, just now I told you that and you didn't flinch. And I said, yeah, why would I flinch? Because spirits are real. I know that. Then he was like, oh, not many people know that. Then I was like, yeah, well, I'm a priest, so I know that. Then he was like, oh, okay. Then the tone of the discussion changed. So then he went deeper and started explaining, like, you know, sometimes we come from different planets, this and that, in previous lives. And that's when I was like, whoa, this is exciting. And so that really kicked it off for me. And for me, I tend to be a person who likes learning. So when I'm excited about something, I kind of go all the way. Yeah, and since then, it's been 4 years of just, you know, past life therapy and spiritual card readings, and going to like Love and Light Festival in Singapore and getting readings from my friend Lorraine. And recently I met another guy in Singapore called Singi, who does energy work. And then I met my Reiki teacher, Master Parag, who was a family friend from my wife's side. And then I, you know, Mindvalley, and I met you, and I met, you know, other communities around the world. And I realized, like, yo, like, there's more crazy people like me around the planet. So now it's just, even the clients, right before this call, actually, I had that client I was telling you about. And he told me on the phone, like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, how do I pay? Like, let's go. And I was like, I'm curious, like, what's making you sign up for this fitness program? He's like, it's you, because I can identify with what you're saying. Like, I saw your video online, and I was like, yeah, I kind of, there's a connection with this guy. Like, I get him. So it's kind of like this spiritual tribe coming together. And we, you know, once we see the person, we instantly know, like, okay, like, you know, this person's as crazy as me. But I guess now that the world's changing, we can stop using the word crazy. So we can use the word like as awakened as me, or as open, you know, to these ideas as me, or something along those lines. Yeah. So that's a summary of the past 4 years.
Wow. Yes. So
yeah,
there's a lot of questions I have, of course.
Sure.
How do people generally how did people react on you? How did your wife react on your experience, on your learning? That you said, okay, all these things are crazy. I mean, I've always felt like what you say, if that was a reason for your dean or whatever it was from the music school to give you the feedback of spiritual awakening, then I've been spiritual awakening since I'm 3 years old, just not knowing it. Because
exactly.
Because I've always had a hard time. I mean, I eat meat, I just love it, but I feel bad about it, right? It's kind of like this. And now in Germany, there's a big scandal. 1,500 people were getting COVID infected in a how you call it, a butcher company. And then they start writing what they do. And Germany is the big exporter of meat in Europe, where France and Italy, Spain, all these were losing market share. But in Germany, these big 2 or 3 brands they have, which are butchering the cows and the pigs, they put the people at 13 hours work days. If you're sick, you're basically fired. The people are put into apartments of 12 to 16, 18 people. It's basically slavery in Germany. I'm like, Merkel must know about that. The politicians must know about that. The biggest meat producer in Germany doing that thing unnoticed, not possible. If they know what we are talking, and if they can block YouTubers, which are calling COVID and other words together, they must know how they treat people. They must know where they get the animals from. And I've always felt bad. I mean, just my body is feeling sick when I say this to you. And I've always had that feeling, always, all my life.
Right.
But I never had anyone saying, hey, you're very spiritual, or you're having an awakening. For me, it's just very, very new. And I'm 42 years old, and it's like perhaps 10, 12 months that I'm going down that road. But what you tell me has always been there for me.
Yeah, you definitely are. And also, I'm going to add to your questions, and you're going to have more questions after this, because I just saw something in the camera. Don't worry, it's not a ghost. You know the shape of your ears, right?
Yes.
So for me, I observe people's faces, and I get this sense of, actually, it's not that mysterious. I'm just making it sound more mysterious than it is. I get this sense of who they were in their past lives. And if you go back to like Disney movies and things, you see all these witches and elves and dwarves and all these people. And if you look at the shape of some people's ears, especially those people with pointy ears, which you have, you give
Me?
that vibe. Yeah, yes, you do. You give that vibe of a very if we're going into like fantasy movies and things, like someone very linked to nature, sort of like a druid or a spellcaster or
uh,
some kind of elven links or fairies. You know what I mean?
okay, spell.
I'm serious though.
Yeah, I really enjoy. I don't remember how the movie is called. It's something newer.
Yeah,
It's really funny because I'm looking at all Mindvalley and spirituality and
yeah,
all these things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
this cartoon. It's with these blue figures, these blue, are they elves or something? And you have like the unicorns, which are basically eating garbage in the backyard, and the little elves, they don't fly anymore, but they're so small, so they're like a group of them on the motorcycles, and like the Harley Davidson guys, which are like really evil, but they cannot fly anymore. And then you have
What is that? I
dragons
want
and
to watch that. What is that? Is it a cartoon or what?
yeah, it's a cartoon. I try to put the name at the
Nice.
end of the show notes, and it's
Okay.
so funny made. I really enjoy it. It's basically like you have all
Yeah.
these fancy animals and figures.
Yeah.
We know from different stories, Lord of the Rings, as you say, Walt Disney,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
and they all lost their magic, kind of, because they have
Mm-hmm.
airplanes and have cars and TV, and
Yeah.
it's hard to spell. You have to learn the spell to turn on light, right? And then someone comes with electricity. Then there's electricity. You just
Yeah.
flip the switch. You don't need a magician to do it for you anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I'll put that.
No, totally. Yeah, but sorry for taking off track. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, obviously, dude, it's obvious. Like, you're obviously highly spiritual. That's just obvious.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
perhaps some people which are aware of that, I haven't known,
Yeah.
but that's also
Yeah.
my mom. I don't think is very spiritual, and
Mm.
there's no risk that she's listening to the episode, and if she's listening, she doesn't understand English that well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I've always felt attracted by nature. So
Yeah.
I don't know, how is it for you? For me, going in a church, it's curiosity. It's not many churches I don't feel good in, and I
Mm.
think it has something to do with the energy, how the church was built, right? If it was built on top of the people to suppress them and show power, I probably will not feel comfortable in it. If it was in harmony with the people and with love and compassion, I might
Yeah.
feel attracted to the church. But generally,
Right.
I feel more attracted to nature and nice places. So how is it for you?
Um. So yeah, I haven't thought that far about a church or a prayer place, but what I do, yeah, similar. I base it on feeling. So I have no problems with any religions or anything, but of course I look past the whole the parts of it that was set up to try and control people. I mean, I look past that and just take that out of my circle of protection, and just focus on the spiritual bits or the energetic bits that feel good. So like I go to a Hindu temple, for example, and walk around because they have a lot of deities and gods, right? So I'll focus on and go to the ones that give me a good vibration. And um, also my Reiki teacher recently told me that because I am a priest, so he did tell me that I did tell him that I stopped going to the Zoroastrian temple. So my dad is the head priest in Singapore, but I stopped going because I didn't understand just preaching old prayers. I mean, ancient prayers, but they've been translated so many times. I don't even know if that's the original prayer anymore. And I don't see the point of doing it out of compulsion. And my Reiki teacher did say that, if you go back to the temple, if you want to, that's fine, but be careful, because in a temple is where you pick up a lot of people dumping their negative emotions, because a lot of people do go there with a lot of sorrow, a lot of sadness, and blah, blah, blah every day or every Sunday or whatever it is. And they do offload a lot of negative things there. So if you want to step back into that role as their priest or whatever, you better make sure you're energetically sound and protected. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was a door from my son.
Oh, no, it's fine. But I'm open, to different.
What you just said, I take notes. That's why I'm so fast with the show notes. It's what you said now, that people are dumping off their negative energy, their negative feelings, their experiences in a church. Perhaps that's also what could also be a part, that I feel that, and that's why I'm not feeling comfortable. I just don't know it. My friends, now I'm in Europe, so there's not many Hindu temples and churches and stuff. So it's mainly the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church, and we know exactly what the Catholics did when they weren't at power, right? Going around the world and saying our belief is the only belief, and if you don't believe, we make you believe, kind of.
All right.
So I don't know if that's what I feel in a church, or if it's what you just mentioned, because I never really thought of it. I've been told that I'm very sensitive, so I have to learn to guard myself. We have Jeffrey Allen on Mindvalley, which tries to teach you how to do the aura things and the awareness teachings. But I've also talked to heart-centered intuitive coach mentor, where she also says, like, where I am, I have too little knowledge about myself, so I'm getting easily guided left and right because I'm not really knowing who I am. When I know who I am and I'm centered in myself, this kind of guard will be easier, and then I will not absorb these energies. As long as when you're not in yourself, you absorb these energies, and that's when you're empathic. Until a year ago, I've been told I'm not empathic, and then some people say, seriously?
What?
Because I'm super empathic, but I'm super empathic, and then people which are not that much, they feel I'm too much. I don't feel people. I don't know when to shut up. I don't know when to share. They just say, you have no empathy. You don't know, blah, 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 blah. Right. Exactly.
That's so interesting. I had the same thing said to me.
Yeah, but, I'm going through the Vishnu Lakiani's classes, and I'm really looking forward to the Extraordinary at Work, because I told you last interview, I bought the books. Yes. But reading and going through Be Extraordinary, he's also talking about rules, the bullshit rules.
That's right.
The rules, like the what is it? The surrounding, the cultural environment you're in, your parents, your school, the TV you're watching, the shows, the people, they all tell you, and you start to identify yourself with certain things. And if you don't get the right teacher in the right moment, you will just absorb all these things, and you will feel like you're this and you're that. I'm talking too much, so people don't want to listen to me. Totally. I cannot focus. I cannot be productive. I will never get a good job. Oh, you have to be able to focus and work hard so you get a good salary. Otherwise, you don't get that. You went for the Be Extraordinary. And so everyone which doesn't know by now, Vishnu Lakiani, Mindvalley, just check out his podcast, check out his books. He really, really puts like the make money and be spiritual together. Because you don't have to be Gandhi and sit on your ass and hope that people give you some food and water so you survive. Yeah. Because you're not allowed to earn money. But also what we talked before, don't be so ignorant about your surroundings and just destroy everything so you get more cash.
Exactly.
It's like the combination of being spiritual and like you say, why are we earning money and we have all this technology, but yet people are suffering, raping, hunger, torture, slavery, all these things? Well, why, when we have abundance of everything?
Exactly. It's ridiculous. And some comedians do it well in their shows as well. Like there was one comedian, I think Louis C.K. I know there was some talk about him abusing some women or whatever, but I'll leave that aside. I'm just talking about that one comedy skit he did when he said that if God came back, God would ask people like, what the hell happened? And people would be like, oh, I wanted to go get a job. And God would be like, for what? And people would be like, to earn money. And God would be like, for what? And people would be like, to buy food. And God would be like, for what? I left it all on the trees and on the ground. You just had to pick it up and eat it. Like, what are you talking about? And then people would say, no, but I like bacon when it's wrapped around and it's really delicious. It's like, it's such a good clip. It explains like the humans just running round and round, chasing things that are already in front of them, you know.
Yes, 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 definitely. But it's still, I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Like, okay, I see all these things, but how can we,
Yeah,
live? I mean, we're not going into political points here with, economy and COVID and animal abuse and whatever not, right? Or human abuse and slavery. But let's continue with you. So now we
sure.
know what happened the last 4, 5, 6 years, that you actually started doing a movie clip, a music clip, movie clip.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it started. You said you wanted to be away from this low energy people, which are dragging you, and you simply don't get ahead. So
yeah,
you took your 6 months and you created your music clip, which ended up
yeah,
on MTV actually.
yeah.
And let's just take it from here because I think I have made
Sure.
a nice track.
Nice.
So you also told me on the pre-interview when we connected that you help people also to come from zero to MTV clip. Is that true? You're still doing that, or want to help
Yeah.
coaching?
Yeah. So last year I started that program of teaching musicians how to become recording artists. Basically, take everything I did in 8 to 9 years and condense it into 3 months. So I had 2 to 3 students for that one. But I realized very quickly that that's a very intensive coaching program. And so, two things. One is because of the time it takes me to deliver that, it's going to cost money. So it's going to cost at least $2,000 to $3,000 for the person. So if they want to pay me $9,000 to $10,000 and say coach me to condense that journey into 3 months, sure, I'll do that because it has to make sense for me and my family. And the other thing is the other person has to be ready to receive that coaching because it is intensive and it covers many areas. It's not just music production. So if you want to learn how to produce music, you can learn that on YouTube. But if you want to learn how to produce music and present yourself well and market yourself well and have the success mindset that I did and have the whole mindset thing can be just 1 month of training, to be honest. Because the two students that I had, I tried coaching them in the mindset, so these 2 students were my proof of concept. And I realized, wow, like everyone's mindsets are so different that to wire them towards a recording artist mindset, it's really wiring a person to be an entrepreneur. So someone who's grown up in the employee mindset, wow. And the older you get in that mindset, to take that and turn it, that itself can take a year of coaching. So my program was trying to fit, I think, too many things into one. But it is a very robust program. So I'm going to continue it eventually. Right now, we're called modernrecordingartist.com. The website is not set up yet because I put it on hold. The Facebook page is around. So facebook.com/modernrecordingartist. And eventually, yes, I will build it up into a company with proper programs, proper funding, and all that stuff. It's really a life-altering course as a musician. Like, you're going to go from I play in a bar to like superhero. But of course, to build that program and be honest to the students, I need some time to build that infrastructure properly. Because, yeah, so that's one thing. And you're also asking about the health or something, or?
Yeah, you're interpreting, but yeah, I was like, okay, I wasn't aware that, or I forgot that you were having that on hold. But this
Yeah,
sounds like a really, really big program, and I can see
yeah,
you probably need to talk to Vision about it. Who knows?
yeah, yeah.
to make a program out of that, because you cannot do it alone. You need to have the right people around you, because it's very intense.
Yeah, it's a big program. Yeah.
So, but looking at this, this program came out of 8 years of experience, plus this 6 months where we were sitting down and saying, I want to have this one song and I do it from scratch. Like, it's like a little bit like Lenny Kravitz. You probably should talk to Lenny Kravitz. I mean, what I heard is he's been registering all the different instruments for his albums, right?
Nice. Yeah.
I thought I heard that. So he played the guitar and the drums and everything. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like what you did. So what was the outcome of the 6 months? You had a song and it was ending on MTV. So
yeah. So
out of
so at the end of 6 months, I had this song, and I thought it sounded really good because I combined the things that I love in music, and that song came straight from the heart. So it was a simple song, like it was in C major, literally. For those of you who don't know, that's like the basic chord scale in music. Very simple, all the white keys and so on. No black keys. So so the lyrics and music was heartfelt. I combined a little bit of hip hop and a little bit of orchestral music. I really think in my past life I was a classical pianist or something. I keep having this vision. Although in this life I can't play the piano for shit. But I can do like rhythmic things because I'm a drummer. But I get this, I always love this classical vibe, choirs and strings, and also I put that all in, and a hip hop beat. And then I had this song at the end of 6 months. When people heard it, they were like, wow, I love this song. It's like, it's inspiring, it's uplifting. I don't claim that had anything to do with my vocals in the song. My vocals are very simple. Just a very simple melody, you know, nothing crazy at all. But the combination of the strings and the drums and the words and the lyrics and the combination, it creates an experience, right? And so I thought I had a decent song, and I was like, this deserves a decent video, because otherwise it'll just be like the journey ending halfway. So on Twitter, so there's this artist, this hip hop artist called Wiz Khalifa, right? And you can check him out. So he's quite famous. So his one of the video crews who had worked with him had reached out to me on Twitter, because 3 years before that, when I was new in music, I used to spam Twitter and everywhere like crazy. So marketing is also something I teach in my course. So I was spamming everywhere, like hashtag singer, hashtag rapper, hashtag drummer, hashtag keyboardist, hashtag guitarist, hashtag bass, hashtag piano, hashtag violins. So they found me, and then they said, do you want to make a video? I was like, I got no songs to make a video with. So what video are you talking about? And then, so 3 years later, once this song was done, I contacted them back and said, now I have a song. So now let's make a video. And they were like, okay. And I was like, but I need to let you know, I am a struggling musician. So what's the minimum cost? And they were like, minimum would be $3,000, and we'll do it in a one-day shoot. Nothing crazy for you, because it's only $3,000. I was like, $3,000, okay. So I started thinking, how do I get 3,000? So I started approaching my rich friends, and I was like, do you want to sponsor this video? Do you want to sponsor this video? I'll put your company name at the start. I'll put your company name at the start. And one of my friends, he was like, why don't you start a fundraising for this, crowdfunding? So then, even if everyone gives you $100 or $200, 3,000 is not that hard to reach. It's only 20 people. So I was like, yeah, okay. I was like against the idea, but I was like, okay, like what harm can I do? So I set it up and I put it up on Facebook, and I put the song clip there, which was already released on YouTube. The song was released, the video was not. So I put it up, people heard it, and they were like, they read the story, what I had written about the song in my life. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, why not support this guy? Why not? Anyway, it's only $100. So I wake up 2-3 days later and my email's going crazy. Like, a new payment of $100 is coming. A new payment of $200 is coming. A new payment of $100. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had the money. So I told them, look, I have the money. And they were like, awesome, let's go make it. So I couldn't afford the flight to US. So I shot a bit of it in Singapore in a studio, in a music studio, me playing the piano and singing and looking very awkward because I'd never made a music video before. And they shot it with a couple of actors enacting like the love story, because it was a love song, kind of. I wrote it for my wife. And so they shot that in the US on a beach. And then I sent them the footage from Singapore. They combined it. And then we released it like 6 months later after that song was done. And then it was done. And I posted it online. And I was like super excited. Like I was like, wow, I finally have a music video that looks like a music video. Like this music thing's going somewhere. And then I showed it to people in Singapore, and they were like, what are you still doing in Singapore? Like, if this is what you want to do, you should be in Hollywood, like trying to make it. But I was like, well, yeah, but you know, the world is now digital. You can make it from anywhere if you want to make it. You don't have to be in Hollywood. And I know I have more to give to the world than just music. So I showed it to people, and they were like, this is awesome. And I sent it to MTV. I just searched. I literally am a very simple guy. So I just Googled MTV contact. And then somehow found a lady who worked there, and then I emailed her. She said, email this guy. So I emailed that guy. The guy just doesn't reply. 4 weeks later, he replies, so sorry, I forgot to get back to you. This sounds and looks awesome. We're going to play it. And then I was like, holy fuck, like I'm on MTV. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know how to sing. So yeah, so that's how it happened. And in the future, I look to make more. But right now with this COVID and our family situation, the house is in silent. So I don't exactly have a studio. I did work with a partner around October to December last year who did have a studio. But it didn't work out for me because we made a song which is quite nice, and I've put it up online. It's called Kick Drum. You can check it out. So we formed a duo called the Golden Mile, and we released a song called Kick Drum. So long term we'll release more, but after this COVID thing is over and I have my own home studio, I think I'm gonna release a lot of music for the long run. But right now I'm just waiting. Like, I'm a patient guy. I can wait. And some people were like, oh, you quit music. And I'm like, no, I haven't quit music. I mean, you know, a musician doesn't quit music. You keep making music for your whole life. It's just about how many songs I'm releasing in this period and how many I'm not, right? So right now it's on hold. It's cool. It's you know, it's chill for now.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. I can see.
Nice arms, by the way.
So how is the MTV video going? I mean, did you have some kind of feedback from it, or it's just there?
Yeah, I mean, it's on YouTube. I haven't taken it down or anything. It's there. Yeah, people said it's nice. Of course, there are a lot of, you know, the strange thing online is there's a lot of people who are jealous. But that's not just online, that's in the entire life spectrum. So there are people who, some people shared the song and said how to release a song with zero production value. And I was like, yeah, but it's not just on MTV, it's also on VH1. Okay. So I was like, so I replied to their post and I said, well, obviously then MTV and VH1 don't know what they're doing because they played it. You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, VH1 is big. I mean, MTV for me, do they still play music videos actually?
Yeah, they do. So yeah. Some people were asking like, yo, in this day and age, why are you talking about MTV? And I was like, I don't even know. It's just the first thing that popped into my mind because growing up, I used to watch MTV. So I sent it to them. Yeah, I haven't fully finished marketing that song even because so much has happened in my life and we had a daughter and this and that. But when I'm back on the music thing, I will be marketing everything.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, but that's good. So yeah, of course you get trolls. I don't want to go into how to deal with trolls and how to not, but I can see you take it easy. And this is great. I mean, now we just have like this round. You started with talking about your spiritual path. It started with that song basically because you had slack time and you were just thinking. Yeah. You started going that road, and now then you said also you have like this program which is using all that knowledge from your studies and making that song, and you just shared nicely the experience you had with the song. Out of respect, because you have 10 minutes more, I think, before you have another call. So let's see. what is creativity for you? Because now we talked a bit about
if you want, I can push the call, but yeah, go ahead.
It's up to you.
Okay.
It's just we have a flow.
Yeah. We'll keep the flow going. Let's go. Keep it going.
So, what is creativity for you? Now you explained. Yeah.
Creativity for me. Okay. So, creativity for me is, I think, yeah, this is a standard answer, but that's the truth. It's just going with the flow.
Okay. How do you find the flow? How do you get into the flow?
Yeah. So the first thing, and a very important thing, which I also learned on masterclass.com, not just learned on masterclass.com, but one of these ladies who was teaching writing. I love to write. She said the same thing which I've known all my life, which is you have to take away the interruptions. She said one of the biggest reasons people cannot write is not because they're not good writers. Everyone's a good writer. Everyone is artistic. Everyone's creative. It's because we get interrupted. So the reason I haven't released any more songs actually is because I haven't found a time to be uninterrupted. So it's the same answer for this question, which is you find the flow and creativity by just being with yourself. So no interruptions. It's like I either have 6 hours by myself in the studio to write a song, or I'm not writing a song. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to go like, oh, I have 20 minutes to write a song now. Let me squeeze this shit out. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, what do you say to the people which say, I mean, I tried as a photographer in 2012 because I have the eye for aesthetics and stuff. Even though it's right. For me, it's because I haven't practiced enough. It's hard when I have customers to basically create it. I see always the result, what I should have been doing when I look at the pictures afterwards. But that comes with practice, right? Because if you do it a lot and then you go home, you look at the picture like, oh, I have another client tomorrow. You try something similar or something completely else, depending on the customer, right? As you also said with the music, people have different mindsets. Then you build up a certain routine. You might have like these 10 mindsets which come to you. Then you know, oh, now I've done that. Oh, I struggled. So now I can do something else. But I had some good meant advices from friends, family, and others would say, yeah, but why don't you just do it 30 minutes before you wake up the kids? You wake up just half an hour early and you get shit done. And like, it doesn't work for me because it takes like half an hour to get into the mood for me to get anything done.
Yeah. So honestly, yes, it is a bit. It kind of can become a habit, a good habit where you turn on the flow like that. But that does take some serious months and years of doing that, what your friends said to you, which is before the kids wake up 30 minutes. So when I was writing that song for 6 months, somewhere in those 6 months, I forgot whether it was at the start or the end, I had a job teaching drums at this school. So I had to squeeze in that time every day before the classes. But even then, to be honest, I didn't squeeze in half an hour. I squeezed in 3 to 4 hours before that. So you're right. It does take time to get into the flow. Yeah. It does. 30 minutes, you hardly get anything done. By the time you start getting into the flow, will be minute 29. And then it's like, 30 minutes over. So yes, you're right. Hours can disappear when you're doing creative work. They really can.
Yeah. So what is the biggest creativity killer what do you think kills creativity besides only having 30 minutes?
Stuck people. Voices and noises from stuck people. And I had a lot of those. Like a lot. Like how many hours are you going to spend just sitting here making this song? That's all you do. Are you ever going to earn any money? Are you ever going to be successful? How come you're not famous yet? Have you marketed the song yet? All this kind of BS, like before the product is made, is not necessary. It's just not. Yeah.
So basically people nagging you with stock people which are not creative themselves, which just see. Is it the people which are like valuing efficiency and effectiveness? Like you have like 30 minutes and you do the right thing in the 30 minutes and you're done, and then you go on to the next task. Is it those people or?
So I was just thinking about that actually before you said it. So I have
Psychic.
Okay. Yes. So we have to have a balance. So I tend to be a very efficient person also, but I think it's about knowing what to do when. So like for me, it depends. So there could be creativity in different fields, right? Like your question could be creativity in the corporate space or creativity in your business versus creativity in your art piece. It's two very different things. So if I want to be creative in an art piece, I set aside the hours for me to just explore and do nothing. So even in those 4 hours, if no song comes out, is good because it's moving me towards my creative skill sharpening. But if it's creativity in my business and I know, okay, I need to design this poster by 12 p.m., I've got 30 minutes because that's all the time I have for this post, and I committed to the goal of 1 post a day, for example, then that's a different kind of creativity. That's we have to compromise a little. So I'll be as creative as I can for the first 10 minutes, then as analytical as I can for the next 10 minutes to sharpen up the poster in case I went a little off, in case my creativity was so awesome in the first 10 minutes that in the next 10 minutes I look at it and realize this does not look like a poster, it looks like a painting. We have a problem here. So the next 10 minutes is analyzing and making up the final product. Simple is always good in terms of creativity. A lot of sayings and quotes come to mind, like, good design is when there's nothing left to take away. Same as in a song. A good song is when there's nothing left to take away, not nothing left to add. And then the last 10 minutes is posting that thing on social media, and it has to go out in that 10 minutes, no choice. So the last 10 minutes is more like zero creativity and 100% efficiency, step on the pedal.
Yeah.
So that's how I structure my creativity for business work. And then for the art side is a bit different. You got to spend more time on it. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm struggling with the efficient part but that's probably because I don't give myself the time for the creative, right? So you're always pulling over the creative into when you should be efficient.
Right.
And you're pulling the efficient in when you should be creative. So you always struggle on both sides because you want to be creative, but then you say, I only have this and this much time. And then you kind of squeeze yourself and you pull on the efficient, effective head. And then, now I should get things the fuck out. And then you start having all these creative ideas. And you're simply like, fuck, just let me just get this out, whatever it is. Like it could be just cutting the grass, and I start to make hearts in the garden, or I don't know, whatever it is. I haven't done that yet, but when I'm super creative, I start making shapes in the garden, but then cutting the grass. But I can see definitely that's something you can learn. But having these stuck people nagging on your head is actually making it different. That's what the rules again come in, right? Like, you're daydreaming. I mean, did you daydream as a kid, or are you daydreaming now?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes. But I would say as business activity kicks up, daydreaming less and less, but that is annoying me. So I think we need to draw a fine line between daydreaming and real world stuff, because daydreaming to me is just like the spiritual side. And then material plane is like the real world execution. So when it's a balance, I think it works best. Because if we daydream too much, then we're not making an impact in the world, kind of. And then if we make too much of an impact in the world, we get a bit crazy, especially us more tuned in types. So we have to relax and I had just last night, I had to tell myself, this morning, even in the shower, I was feeling a bit stressed, and I was like, what the hell am I feeling stressed about? Everything's going great. Business is going great. Social media is going great. I'm feeling fulfilled because I'm doing what I love all day and helping people get their breakthroughs. That's amazing. Body looks good, face is clearing up, family life is getting better. Everything's going great. So what am I stressed about? Just pretend I'm on vacation. So I pretended I'm on vacation, and which I kind of am because I do what I like all day. And then the stress melted away. And then I showed up to this client meeting earlier with no expectations. And the client basically sold himself to me. I was like, okay, good. See, it works out. So just chill and let the universe do its thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just asked because my experience was when I was a kid, I was just like getting stuck suddenly and just daydreaming. But for me, I realized I was told, "Oh, you're daydreaming again. When are you getting work done?" I think that's where it comes from. This, this endless loop, like where I'm beating myself up for being too creative and basically not creating anything. But as you say, if you put up a time, 4, 6, 8 hours or whatever it is, then that's how it is. If there's nothing coming out of it, which seldomly will, because ideas will pop up, and you will start doing things, then you can also be more effective afterwards. And I've heard that also from some movie producers. I don't remember. Just okay, he had a secretariat, and his nice pool and his nice whatever it is, right? Greenhouse with the birds flying around. I have no idea what the guy had. But so no one was allowed to contact, like no telephone went in, no email went in, no one came into the house because he had his 1 or 2 people which took care so he could work. For us, it's a bit harder, right? But of course, you can turn off your phone. You can plug out the internet cable, turn off the Wi-Fi, which is anyway good for the physical being to have less Wi-Fi, and then get things done. Yeah. Yes. Where did I want to go else with all the questions I have?
Could we just take a short 1-minute break?
Yeah. Let me take a 1-minute break. See you after the break. And we're back from our break. I'm not so good in jingles. You see, I'm more the drawing guy. Okay, so we had our break. Or coffee or tea. Let's try to close down a bit. My experience with the interviews I have when I ask about creativity, a lot of about going in the flow, be in nature, take your time, be inside yourself, as you say. How is your practice with meditations now that we also talked about spirituality? Do you have any meditation practices or?
Yeah. So I kind of tie in my meditation with my body. So I am running a health program now, and I think the meditation and body, they kind of weave into each other. So the meditation practices I have, one of them is I follow one of Sadhguru's meditations. So one of his meditations is called Isha Kriya.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just Google it. They have a clip. I'm sorry, YouTube it. I mean, they have a clip there, and just follow that on many mornings.
Is that the morning? Is that the morning meditation?
Not particularly. They said you can do it morning or evening. Either way, it just helps me calm down, because he has a line inside there that says, "I'm not the body. I'm not even the mind." And so that puts me with my spiritual self and just takes all the stress away, which is good, is necessary for people who are running business, for sure. So that's good. And another one that I have that I do is a chakra clearing meditation.
Okay.
By Tracy Griffiths. You can search on Google. She invented or trademarked, I don't know which, aromatherapy yoga or aroma yoga, something along those lines. So she has this meditation that takes you just flowing your energy, cleaning all the chakras up, balancing them with aroma therapy, like you rub an essential oil. So I used to do that with the essential oil long ago. Now I do it without the oil, just so it's more, no outside substances. So just cleaning up the chakras, I do that once in a while. Um, I'm now a Reiki practitioner, so I send distance healing to people and clients, and also self heal using that. So I do that every day. I send Reiki to myself. So Reiki is like universal life force energy, and it balances out your chakras if you want to. Or alternatively, just sends universal energy to your different body parts which need healing or your life situations. So I do that, and then so these are all more or less outside influences, not outside influences, but I learned it from others. And for my own stuff, so I go to the park near my house, or I try to find an ocean and a beach whenever I can and I have the time to do this thing called earthing or grounding. So that's a very useful concept, which is sort of a meditation in itself, because when you go into nature, you can start to talk to the divine or to your spirit guides or to your maybe even straight to source or to whichever spirit guide or angel is guiding you at that moment. You can talk to them. So actually, last year I started doing that, and I started talking to them and said, I trust you, so guide me along the path, and just let whatever thoughts and feelings that come in, I'll take them as that's what you're trying to tell me. So I was just staring at the grass, and then I heard the word fitness. And as I was climbing the park, I heard the word fitness. And I was like, really? Fitness? Like, okay. I mean, I've always done it, but like, okay, like I'm in music. Why should I now go to fitness? And then I also heard another voice saying acting. So I've started making more and more videos. I know maybe I'll land some acting roles down the line. I did do a primetime TV show before, but I didn't really like the experience because the politics behind the scenes between the actors is just nuts, because again, so much fear and insecurity. So when I went on acting set, I was like, yo, this is quite toxic. I don't want to be here. But let's see what the future holds. But back to the question about meditation. So nature is definitely one. And I think like there's many people who are really commercializing meditation. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I mean, everyone has to live and eat, and that's fine, totally fine. But I think one of the most pure forms of meditation to me comes to me in the gym and in nature or in the pool. Literally, when I'm by myself in any aspect, talking to myself. But I get the feeling I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to I'm not talking to my human self. I'm talking to my higher self, or my spirit, or my spirit guide, or whatever. There's multiple things, entities like your angels, or sometimes even source, and they're sending a message to you like, go do this. That form of meditation is a more spirit linked one. And for a more body linked one, it's exercise for sure. So like in the gym, in the gym, mostly I exercise in the gym or on a yoga mat at home. I don't listen to any music. I don't plug in anything into my ears. I like to be with myself, and my spirit guide talks to me and gives me quotes. So once it first started, when I heard this quote in the gym, and I wasn't trying to think of a quote. So before that, when I was younger, I used to write quotes, and I used to think, this is my creativity. I'm now writing a quote. So it would feel like I was writing it. But in the gym, I was like, I'm not trying to write anything right now. So why would an idea pop into my head? And very soon I realized more and more it started happening. And I was like, yo, someone's talking to me. So I was in the gym in between sets. The first one that came about a year and a half back was a square will never understand the possibility and balance that a circle brings. And I was like, at first I was like, Yeah, look at me. I'm like an insane genius. I'm like coming out with this insane poetry that makes a lot of sense. And then as it started happening more, I was like, no, wait, hang on. That's someone putting these channelings into me. Um, you know, so that's one form of meditation, I guess, where I go within myself and start to talk to all these different entities.
Okay, I mean, I can see there's a lot of different possibilities for our listeners to
Hmm.
go. They can go for the Sanguru or for Tracy Griffiths for the chakra healing.
Yeah,
They can find you as a Reiki practitioner, so they can
yeah.
contact
I've
you if they
started.
want to do that.
Yeah,
And what they can do by themselves as well is go into nature. What I've heard many times, bare feet, I think,
yeah,
is what would be the best. Don't
yeah.
take your thick Nike or Adidas shoes with a lot of rubber, which is disconnecting you
Exactly.
from the balancing out your electrons.
Hmm.
Gym, pool, nature, you say, and physical, and no music. Um, I can see that I've been a little bit unbalanced the last 2 days because it was really raining and windy, so I haven't been really out, and I can really feel that.
Same.
Because when I've been out and just out and about doing this and doing that, I have a very hard time when it's nice weather to be inside and be productive. I
Hmm.
work all the time with my body outside, and I feel much more. That's meditation. Now, does any of those help you to be more creative? Of those meditations, do you when you put like your 4, 5, 6 hours aside to create anything? Are you having also one of these practices beforehand?
Mm, um, not really, because I think those 5, 6 hours, let's say I'm writing a song or whatever, that's automatically going into that state. So I don't need one before. That's automatically when you
Okay.
free up the mind. When you free up the mind, um, automatically your spirit comes through. So I've personally never had an issue with that. Some people might. They might have an issue quieting their mind in that blank moment. So if you do, I would recommend, yeah, totally what you recommended, which is do one of those. Do a
Cool.
10-20 minute meditation and then start the creativity.
Okay, super. Uh, yeah, well, I normally also ask a question, but I have the feeling you already answered it through all this description you have. Like a situation you really had to be outside your comfort zone and overcome a bigger obstacle, which you didn't really believe you can overcome. If so, how did you manage?
Yeah. So that's been like 2, 3 months ago, actually very, very recent. So my old comfort zone, I think, was, and my family's comfort zone was getting me to take a job, and make them all feel comfortable, and hence make me feel comfortable, because all our feelings are linked, right? Because we absorb each other's energy.
Yeah.
And I've had to just push against like walls and walls and walls of energy and be this little voice. And sometimes I would feel almost scared to tell them this, but I was like, screw that. That's it. I'm not going back to a day job. I'm just not, unless it really, really speaks to me and the employer is really, really excited to have me and I'm really, really excited to go there. Okay, then that's a different story. Then I'll do day jobs all day long. But I've never had any day jobs like that, um, where we value each other brings to the table in entirety. So I've never had that so far. So the thing that I had to break through was, um, and it was really funny because I myself was convinced, half of myself was convincing myself, no, you have to take a day job, of course, be comfortable. And the other half, the quiet half, the half that was just going crazy inside, was like, how long are you going to keep playing small? Like, how long in your life are you going to keep doubting yourself, and how is the feeling going to be like when you reach the age of 70 or 80 and go, oh, I only spent 10 years on my business because I retired at 60, but actually I should have spent my whole life on it, you know? So I gave that a really long, hard think the past few weeks, a month or two back. And I was like, stop being a little wimp. Um, and that's it. Like, you have enough skills that you can sell. It doesn't matter if it doesn't become a multinational brand. Just start with you. If you could teach drums and somebody wants to learn drums, just get off your ass and go teach them. Somebody wants to learn meditation, teach them. Somebody wants to learn how to fix their bodies, which you've been doing for your whole life, just help them, and go organic, and don't be scared of presentation. So I started live videos even yesterday, and now I'm going to do one a day. And it doesn't matter, like, just tell the truth, because all of us have something that other people can learn who are not that good in those areas. So that's to answer your question. Yeah, that's what it's been like.
So the big obstacle, comfort zone, was being in a day job where you have your day income, but you felt inside not comfortable, and basically you were asking yourself, how will I feel when I'm 70 years old or older, not having done that? And basically that helped you come out of it. Super. Yes. Let's wrap it up for today. I think we have more than enough. And then when people have questions, we just gather them and we throw them at you for another interview.
Sure.
Because we'll keep in contact, definitely. So anything, we just mentioned where the people can reach out to you. I'll put the notes again. Anything else you would like the people to do? Like a call to action. Let's put that. We didn't ask a call to action for the last interview.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I have 3 things I'm doing right now. So one is the toptotoetransformation.com, which is where I teach you how to get in shape without ever going to a gym. No pills, no powders, no protein. I mean, not no protein, but no protein powder. No diets, and no HIIT exercise. So a lot of people love that. So you can stay at home and get fit with just 1 yoga mat and 2 dumbbells. So I'm offering that as a program for clients worldwide. So if any of you want that, just get in touch with me. That's one thing. Second thing is, if anybody wants Reiki healing for different life situations, body parts, any stuckness that they can't get out of or heal, Reiki can heal that. And I'm rapidly advancing in this area because I really love it, and I tend to have a natural talent, but I need to sculpt the talent. So I'm working on that. So if you need Reiki healing for anything, let me know. It's available worldwide as distance healing. And the third thing is card readings and counseling. Sometimes people have yes/no questions. So I use tarot cards and angel cards to get those answers. Talk to their spirit guides and my spirit guides and get the answers for them. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is, I've just decided over the past 2 days to start it, which I posted on my Facebook yesterday, which is people who are navigating their awakenings. So I took like 4 or 5 years to navigate mine, and it was such a mess. But now I finally have put all the tools and sort of steps together. Of course, there's no one size fits all solution because it's unique to the individual, but these are like milestones and guidelines that every spiritual person who's gone through their awakening seems to have done. So, it'd be good for somebody who's new, just awakening, to just know that, yes, there are people there to help me, and, here are some steps I can try. So I'm putting that together because many people have been asking online, like, yo, I think I'm having an awakening. What the hell do I do? So just to help them out, putting that one's like the cheapest out of all 4 because it's purely just like charity to help people. And you can I put up health tip videos on YouTube. So all my channels, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, VK, even if you're in Russia or whatever, have the same name, first name, last name, my name. Then the company is called 3Part Human. So same, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, 3Part Human. And the fitness one is the top-to-toe-transformation.com.
Super. Then
Yeah.
all of this will be in the show notes as usual in the blogs. So you will be able to reach out to Zephyr. And thank you for listening to episode 2. This was like a first time that I have 2 days in a row the same person for part 1 and part 2. Thank you so much for all the information you gave and the help. So
awesome, brother.
Listeners, see you for another episode. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You know where you find me, and we'll make it happen. And if you want to be part of the show, do the same. See you then. Bye-bye.